introducing him to Josh on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So,
do you want me there? Go ahead and say it.
No, I don't.
Okay.
No,
right. Why
would you be there, Nick?
There.
You're a writer. And you keep saying you want to be in these conversations, but you can't be in these conversations as a writer. This is producer work. What would you contribute?
I asked you a simple yes or no.
What would you contribute?
I would contribute if they want to have a creative discussion.
But that's not the discussion we're having.
I'll look good. Dude. I'll sit there and look good. Okay? Look, man. Okay, the problem with you, Nick, is you have no capacity.
Am I too scurrilous?
You're unable to say no.
Am I too scurrilous?
Just no. You're a bit scurrilous, dude.
Word that no one uses, which I'm glad you acknowledged the word that I just used, because we're going to move into that segment. This is the segment of words that no one uses. We're going to paint a picture for you guys why we have the segment, because it's hilarious.
Let me introduce this real quick. I'm a writer, okay? Nick has contracted me to write on projects in the past. And it's a conundrum, because he'll talk about how
by the way, people use the word conundrum, but they use that word. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, in the pantheon of the English language. Write that down, Nick. That's going to be your next word, son. Okay.
Pantheon. Is that on there? No, it's not. Okay.
So anyway, but his criticism, he thinks I'm a good writer, and he tells people, hey, Nick's a great writer. He's a good writer. And then what he'll do is get very, very meticulous with his criticism over a single word, as if that single word defines the quality of the work, and it pisses me off.
I'm not saying the single work defines the quality of the work. I know your quality work is high. All I'm saying, and my argument has been the entire time, because guess what? I'm the one that did the freaking audiobook for that book that you ghost wrote for us called Beyond Sight. By the way, it's on Amazon. Look for it, Beyond Sight. Graphic novel's coming out. Make sure you pre-order it. Published by Platinum Studios. Anyway, harmless plug. Anyway, when I was doing the audiobook for that book, and I was the first 3 chapters, this word scurrilous comes across. And anytime there was a word that I didn't know, I had to stop recording, look up the word to see the pronunciation.
I feel so bad for you.
And then learn the word, and then say the sentence, and then start recording again. And I had to do that probably several times per chapter of 43 chapters.
No, you didn't. That's ridiculous.
Now,
number one.
Hang on. I want to give you credit, because some of those words I had to look up because they were Russian words, because you were very meticulous in your research when it comes to the story that you told.
Well, thank you.
So I'll give you that credit. But it still pissed me off. And my argument with the whole word scurrilous, because we'll go to people on the street and ask them straight up, do you know what the word scurrilous means?
Oh, here comes a lie. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
And
go ahead.
More than half say no. Now, when you put it in context, the way Nick puts it in context, because he does it overtly.
Well, everything's in context in the novel.
No, it's not.
It is.
And here's why I say that, because I want everyone to be able to understand what's going on.
All right.
Even the mundane or the regular folk that aren't academics, that aren't, writers or something like that. And the reason why I say this is because my dad is one of those people. And he was just listening to the audiobook, and he heard a word like scurrilous, and he's like, oh, I can't listen to this. I don't understand what's going on.
Your dad.
My dad.
He is not our market at all, dude.
He is a part of our market, yes.
No, he's not. Okay.
Anyway, my argument was write it simpler, because you can use another word.
Did your dad buy the audiobook?
I can't remember if he did or not. I think he did.
Okay. Well,
anyway,
what's it matter?
It does matter, because you don't want him to listen to it and then just turn it off because he can't understand it. Anyway, then this is a producer thinking compared to a writer's thinking is what you're looking at, because I want to market to a wider audience. Nick's like, screw them.
Okay, see,
I want to write how I'm going to write, because if they don't understand the word, that's on them.
That right there is where you start to fall away from logic, because the reality is
that's leaning into logic.
Okay, well, you just got through saying over half didn't know what the word meant.
Whenever we just ask people,
let me finish talking. Okay, shut up. In other words, if you approach people on the street, over half don't know what it is. That's like, you mean 45% do? Because that's about right. It's about right. We've
all right. So
okay, and they're not getting any context. And I can't use every word to please everybody, man. If you're gonna describe the bad guy, Bill Heyman, yeah. As a scurrilous person, I think people are gonna be like, oh, I know what scurrilous means now.
What would be another word to use other than scurrilous that would explain in the same way that everybody knows?
There's dozens of them.
Throw one out. You're the smart one. Throw one out.
Clever, conniving.
Conniving. People know conniving. People relate to conniving because they know a lot of conniving people. You could even call them a narcissist. That's a buzzword these days.
Okay, but you also have to understand, was conniving already used in that paragraph?
No.
You don't want to do it. Well, I'm giving you an example,
I know
Nick.
you're giving me an example, but the example is flawed because...
You don't want to say the man was conniving and he connived his way into the house and the wife connivingly got her knife. You don't want to do that.
But I'm saying you still could have used conniving because it wasn't used earlier or after. So you could have used a simpler word.
You see, this is what gives me a headache right
marketed to a wider market. Like, it would have appeased a wider market. That's all I was saying.
I think all this
I'm not
really
saying
goes
your
back
word wasn't well used.
I think what this goes back to is you're just bitter. That's all. That's what this comes down to.
You're just bitter. You're just bitter, Nick, because you didn't know the word.
Let's get past Scurrilous.
Hang on, because I want to tell you a story about Scurrilous. I was actually in a TikTok hole the other day.
Scurrilous?
No, I was in a TikTok hole the other day, and I saw the great Mike Johnson come up on the screen.
Yeah.
You know, what's his position?
Department of...
No. Mike Johnson is the House of Representatives.
House Representative, okay.
Yeah. And no.
I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do.
Vice President, and then Speaker of the House. That's what his position is.
And he's great, too, man.
And he was having this press conference, and they were asking him questions, and the way he described the Democratic representatives, he said their behavior was very scurrilous.
Thank you.
And I heard that.
Thank you, Mike Johnson.
We're going to talk about this.
Yes. And that's the second time that you and I have... I pointed out once, this was months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, where somebody in the government used the word scurrilous. It was like, I don't remember who it was, but remember, I sent you or at least showed you the clip on the phone. I was like, scurrilous.
It couldn't have been the same clip because mine was pretty recent.
No, it was a different clip. But it's like that's the second example where the word scurrilous actually gets used.
I know, but that only started happening like how many months after we had the first argument?
Oh, because
like
you won't let it go?
7 or 8 months. To a year. Like it was a year after we started the argument. This argument's been going on for a long time.
Because you just won't let it go. You won't drop it. You won't just let it die.
For listening to Nick's Right Podcast, where Nick is always right. Make sure to follow us on X at Nick's Right Pod, on TikTok at Nick's Right and Nick's Right Pod, across the board on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and anywhere else you can find a podcast at Nick's Right Podcast. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.